2.3.2, last section of the chapter, we're working on equations between 2 points. Equations between 2 points. And let's use some of those good student skills and put our date and everything on here. Today is Monday, November 6th. And we don't need a book page because we're just going to take some notes today. We won't worry about the book. All right, so here's our problem of the day. Right. Oh my goodness, I'm making mistakes again. I can't write and talk today for some reason, folks. Write an equation for a line that ... We're going to do 3 examples, and they're all going to be very similar. So example 1. Write an equation for a line that ... goes through, and I'm going to give you a couple points here, 45, 49, and negative 35, 1. All right, so I'm giving 2 points this time. Let's play a little compare and contrast. How is this problem similar to the problem that we just did in our warm-up? How is it similar to that problem from our warm-up? How is the given information similar? What did I give you in the warm-up? What, the slope and a point. So what's similar about this problem? Did I give you the slope in this problem? No, so that's different. Did I give you a point in this problem? Yeah, I gave you 2 points in this problem. So it's kind of similar because I gave you a point, but it's different because I did not give you the slope. Does anybody have an idea for what we might do first? Find the slope. Have we ever found the slope between 2 points? Do you guys remember ever finding the slope between 2 points? See if you can find a problem in your packet where you found the slope between 2 points. You guys have your packets in front of you? Could you look inside of your packets, please? See if you can find me a problem in your packet where you found the slope between 2 points. Is there one in there somewhere? Ooh, I found one. I'm looking at this one right here. You guys have this one done in your packet? I'll get you a copy of this in a second. Can you put your phone away, please, though? Thank you. I love what you're doing there with it, though. That's actually using your phone for good. No, I got a copy of this. I can get you. Okay. All right. Remind yourself of how we found the slope here. Remember, we just stacked the points on top of each other. We found our change in x and our change in y, and then we wrote a fraction and simplified it. You guys remember doing this? Could you please do that with the problem that we've got here? Do the same thing. Stack the 2 points on top of each other. And find me a change in x and a change in y. I like to label x and y. Figure out, how do I get from 45 to negative 39? How do I get from 49 to 1? Find me that change in x and that change in y. Did I copy it down wrong? I sure did. Thank you. That is mistake number 853 today. Keep your eye out, folks. I'm really having a hard time talking and writing at the same time today. This is why I said grab a calculator. Which way do I have to go to get from 45 to negative 35? Am I adding or subtracting? That's definitely subtracting. How much? Minus 10. If I went from 45 to just regular 35, that would be minus 10. It's actually minus 80. It's actually minus 80. Do you all know how to use your calculator to do this part? If you're trying to figure out how far it is to get from one number to another, take the second one and subtract the first. Could you all get your calculators out right now and do negative 35 minus 45 and hit enter? Negative 35 minus 45. Can I get everybody to do this right now? Double check and make sure that negative 80 is correct. Are you getting minus 80? All right, second one minus the first is how we figure out the change. So do that for this one. What's 1 minus 49? We could probably do this without a calculator, I'm thinking. Negative 48. All right. Folks, you're doing great. Our goal here is to find the slope. We're trying to find change in y over change in x. That's what the slope is, change in y over change in x. What was our change in y? Which of those was the change in y, the 80 or the 48? The negative 48 was the change in y, so put that on top. And the negative 80 was the change in x, so put that on the bottom. Then we want to simplify that. Those are some big numbers, but I think we can find some numbers that go into 48 and 80. What's one number that jumps into your mind that would go into both of those? 8 goes into both. Let's divide them both by 8. So now negative over negative, I'm just going to turn the whole thing positive, right? The two negatives are going to cancel. 48 divided by 8 is 6. 80 divided by 8 is 10. I think we can go one more step, can't we? What can we divide both of those by? We can divide them both by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Folks, these yellow calculators will actually do fractions for you. Is anybody interested in seeing how that works? Yeah? Let me show you. And if you've got one of the blue ones or those gray ones, they will do it too. The buttons are slightly different. It's this U over or N over D that does it. So I'm gonna go back to my original. Now, it doesn't handle negatives very well. So you're gonna have to know that a negative over a negative is a positive. But I'm just gonna do 48 over 80, but I'm gonna use this button right here, the N over D button. So 48 N over D 80, and when I hit enter, boom, it brings that down to 3 over 5 for me. Okay, it doesn't do negatives very well, especially if you have a negative in the bottom. All right, if you've got one of those other calculators that are super popular, I can show you how to do. Just call me over later. All right, so we've done our first step, and let's annotate this. Step 1, find the slope. So we did that work, we've got our slope. Now this looks kind of like what we just did, doesn't it? We know our slope and we know a point. Actually, we know 2 different points. Do you think you'd be able to find B just following the same steps that we did in our warm-up problem? That's exactly what we're going to do. So step 2, let's write out our step first this time. Step 2 is pick a point. We have 2 to choose from. Pick a point and substitute M, X, and Y into y equals mx plus b. Substitute mx and y into y equals mx plus b. So we know what m is, don't we? What is m? M is the slope, and what is our slope? 3 over 5. We know what m is. So I'm going to put a little m over top of that 3 over 5. Now, we need to pick a point. So it doesn't say which point to pick. Do you guys want to go with the first one or the second one? What do you think we should always do? Or do you think it doesn't matter which one we pick? The smaller one? I like your style there. I like picking small numbers too. I probably would pick the second one because it's got smaller numbers, but actually it does not matter which one you pick. You need to stick with one point or the other. I'm going with the second one because I'm with you. Why make things more difficult for yourself? Let's go with smaller numbers. Sometimes I'll pick one of the points because like it has all positive numbers, but these are much smaller. Actually, though, is anybody willing to be a little brave? Could I get one or two people in the room to try doing the same step I'm about to do with the first point instead? Just so we can verify that we are going to get the same answer. Who's going to be brave and do it with the first point for me? Can I get a couple people to try that, please? Please, come on. Yes, yes, okay, we got one person. So you're going to do it with the 45 and the 49. We're going with the 35 and the 1. All right, let's fill it in. So the equation is y equals, I'm going to use 1 for my y because that's the y coordinate I picked. And then m is next. M was 3 over 5. 3 over 5. And then x was, we picked negative 35. And I'll put that in parentheses because it is getting multiplied. And I don't know what b is, so I'll just leave it as a letter b. So we just put all of those numbers in for x and y and m. And now we got to simplify. Anybody here get a little nervous when they see fractions multiplying together? I'll give you a cheat code here. This is gonna blow your minds. It's gonna make your life so much easier. When you're multiplying a whole number by a fraction, guys, don't miss this. This makes the mental. If you're pretty decent at mental math, you won't get stuck on fractions anymore. Check this out. I'm going to do 35 times 3 over 5. I'm not going to worry about the negative for right now. When I do this, I need to do two things. I need to multiply by the top number and divide by the bottom number. But turns out you can actually do those two things in any order you want to. So I will actually usually do the division first and then the multiplication later. All right, so check this out. You can all do this without a calculator. You with me? Take 35 and divide it by 5. What do you get? What's 35 divided by 5? 7. Now multiply that times 3. What's 7 times 3? Yeah, thanks. 21, and it would be a negative 21. So divide by the bottom number, multiply by the top number. That's how you multiply by a fraction. It's really simple. Most of the time you can pull it off in your head. All right, bring down your 1 and your equal sign and your plus b. So far, we've just simplified that. And ultimately, we want to figure out what b is, so let's get it by itself. What are we going to do to get that b by itself? Right now, it's got this minus 21 here. How are we going to get rid of that? Do plus 21 on both sides. Those cancel out. B is left over. 1 plus 21 is 22. We have just finished step 3. We should probably write down what step 3 is. Solve for B. Now we're done. We just need to write down the final answer. What's my final answer? It's y equals something x plus something. You got it. Y equals 3/5 x plus 22, and we're done. All right, this is the most challenging type of problem we're going to do in this chapter. Yeah, it's not that bad. If you know how to do all the individual pieces, this isn't too bad, right? So it relies on us being able to find slope and then knowing how to do that stuff that we did last Thursday. But if we can combine those two things together, that's it. That's it. We're going to do one more together, folks. Before we do, what questions do you have about example number 1? Oh, you guys are doing awesome. We're going to do a second one together. And then remember, example number 3 is all you. You're going to be working on example number 3 solo. Of course, we'll be here to support you. But let's see if we can get all of our final questions answered on this one. So same thing. We're going to write the equation of the line that goes through. This time our coordinates are -12, -4. And 15, comma, -13. Not nearly as big numbers as we had before, but still kind of large numbers. I probably wouldn't want to do this by graphing. Let's do it algebraically. I'm not going to write out the steps in words this time around. I'm just going to do the work. So what was step 1? Find the slope. Go ahead and find the slope. There's lots of different ways to find the slope. My favorite way that I totally stole from a student many years ago was take the 2 points, stack them on top of each other, and find your change in X and change in Y. By the way, if this method does not work for you, you let me know. I know of at least 4 other ways to find slope between 2 points. That's plus. All right. Did you guys come up with plus 27 for your change in X and minus 9 for your change in Y? Hey, we have the opportunity for the most common mistake coming up right here. When we find our slope, we got to make sure we get the right number on the top and the right number on the bottom. It's so easy to flip these around. So double check and make sure. Which one should go on top, the 27 or the minus 9? It's always change in Y over change in X. So minus 9 over 27. Rise over run, right? Which one goes in the top? Rise goes in the top, right? Rise goes in the top and Y's goes in the top. Rise and Y's always go in the top. That's how I remember it. Give me the biggest number you can think of that go into both 9 and 27. 9 goes into 9 and it goes into 27. Yeah. So that's going to get us negative, what is that? 1 over 3. All right. We got a slope. Finished. And I think that's the hardest part of the problem. We still got to find B. So we need to choose one of these points. You guys want to go with the first one or the second one this time? I kind of like the second one. Only one of the numbers is negative. What do you think? Yeah, I try and stay away from negatives if I can. I can't completely avoid them, but I'm going to go with the second one. But if anybody wants to be a rebel and do the first one instead, try it. Try it. Can I get someone different to try the other point this time around? I have one brave person do it last. I forgot to check in with you, by the way. Did we get the same answer last time? We did. I knew we would. Anybody else want to try the other point? I'm going with this one. Anybody else want to try this one? You're going to do this one? Yeah, thanks for being volunteered. You've been conscripted. All right, I'm going to go with the 15 and the negative 13. So let me write down, oh, and this is M here. So my equation is Y equals MX plus B. And then I'm going to rewrite it, but I'm going to put all those numbers in the right spots. So let's see, Y is negative 13. And M is, what was it, negative 1/3. And X was 15. And B was B. I don't know what B is yet. And we'll do a little simplifying action. Negative 1/3 times 15. That's going to be a negative answer. Let's try our little trick again here. Start with 15. Divide by 3. What do you get? 15 divided by 3 is 5. Times 1 is 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Times 1 is 5. So that's negative 5. We'll bring down our plus B and our negative 13. We are so close, folks. So close. How are we going to get that B by itself? Plus 5 both sides. Negative 13 plus 5 is negative 8. And boom, we got B. B is negative 8. It's just time to put it all together. Write me an equation. Y equals. Slope usually comes first. What's our slope? -1/3. X comes after the slope. And then our y-intercept comes at the end. We could write plus -8. I like to just write -8. Plus a negative is the same as minus. That looks a lot cleaner in my opinion. And there we go. There's 2 done. What do you guys think? Kind of a 3-step process. Find the slope, which we've practiced a whole bunch of times, and then take a point in that slope, put it into the equation for x and y and m, and solve for b. All right, there's one more for you guys to do for me. One more, and this one you're going to do on your own. Okay. So example 6. This time around, you're going to write me the equation of a line that goes through. I'm get some big numbers in here this time. -60, 64, and 24, -83. Remember, your overall goal is to write me an equation that says y equals something x plus something. All right, and we've got 3 main steps for this. Step 1 is find the slope. You don't have to write all these words down. This is just for you to look up here in case you get stuck. Step 2 is substitute x, y, and m into y equals mx plus b. And part of that is you got to pick a point. You have 2 to choose from this time. And then part 3 is solve for x, or solve for b. All right, folks, as soon as you get that done, could you please raise your hand, get my attention, I'll check it off. I'm also happy to give you some hints. When you're finished with this problem, you may start on our penultimate assignment. You guys know what penultimate means? It is one of the most misused words in the English language. It means the second to the last. Penultimate assignment would be this one right here. Our final assignment is going to be, no, I'm sorry, the penultimate assignment is this one right here, which is due on the 8th. We've already done this one. I should stamp my own page. So you're going to do this one right here. And then the final assignment will be the closure assignment. All right. Please get my attention as soon as you get that done. We'll check you off and send you on your way.